Okay, back working on the Dhana 44. At the point where I'll be doing the final assembly with the carrier and crown wheel. I've already set up the pinion in here with a new yoke, new seal. I just sort of go through a few things that we've done with this diff. We've changed the ratio from a 391 to a 371. Okay, cut, stop, cut. I made a mistake in this clip, the following clip. When I was referring to in the Dhana 44 build in this clip, whenever I say 371, I actually mean to say 354. I got mixed up. I hadn't worked on this diff for over a month, and when I made the video, I got a little bit confused myself. And like I said, when I say 371, I actually mean to say 354. So yes, we installed into the Dhana 44 a set of 354, not 371s. I'm sorry for that. On with the clip. Which requires a new hemisphere because the offset is different for the crown wheel in the differential housing, the differential case. So I had to swap over all the internals of the hemisphere, or the actual differential itself. Swapped all that over, side gears and pin gears. I've just done the final setup, as I was saying in the other video, that we had to use the slipper bearings, the bearings that came in the kit, as slipper bearings, because the carrier shims, these little buggers, these are the old ones here, they actually sit underneath the bearing itself. Once you press that onto these new cases, you can't get them off, so excuse me, when you're setting up the backlash and the preload, basically speaking, you need to be able to take those bearings on and off to be able to use small adjustable shims, which are these little buggers over here, which, as you can see, are really, I think they go down to like about 3 thou. So they range from probably like 12, 13 thou through to down to 3 thou, in 2 thou increments. So yeah, so like I said, that's a bit of a pain to get that correct. So once again, like I said, you got to use the slipper bearings to be able to physically take them on and off. I'll show you that in a minute. Once again, being the Dhana 44, we need to use the diff spreader. So what I'll do is I will set that up on the diff and just give you an idea what it sort of looks like, and go through a little bit of that as well. Alrighty, so that's the diff spreader set up on here. As you can see, it's a pretty chunky piece of kit. These are solid bars. This is very solid. This is your adjuster that actually physically spreads the case itself. Now, when you spread these cases, you don't spread them until this literally falls out at you. You only really spread these, they recommend 20 thou. Now, in my experience, I only actually spread them 15 thou, and to get this in and out, it's still actually tight. So once again, it doesn't just fall out. Now, this actually, as you can see, spreads the case. Now, underneath here, there are pins, dowels that go into the casting to spread the actual case. Now, no offense meant to anybody, but I have seen some people use chains onto here, onto the axle tubes, scissor jack back here at the yoke, and then wrenching on that scissor jack and trying to replicate what the diff spreader does. Whereas in actual fact, more than likely, all they were actually doing was bending the axle tubes, and more than likely permanently bending those axle tubes. So once again, this, you don't wrench on this either. you only spread this case 15 thou once again, which is not a lot, and you still have to knock this in and out physically to get it in and out. It's still tight. So yeah, once again, like I said, I just thought I'd show that to you guys and girls, once again, because I don't use these very often at all. I don't use them at all on the Borg Warners. There's just no need to. But whereas with these, with the way that the shims, the carrier shims are located, and all the rest of it, the mass and the size of it and everything like that, you physically do need to use a diff spreader on one of these to make, and it just makes the job a whole lot easier. So once again, you know, this is a proper bought tool that one of my buddies has lent me. So yeah, once again, we don't use these very often. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys what the diff spreader is all about. Okay, so I've got the differential hemisphere out and crown wheel out once again. I just thought I'd show you and explain to you the slipper bearing. So the inside of this has been ground out. I've ground it out so that it actually slips on and off of the bearing journal, as you can see, whereas these are a press fit standard. The reason being that we do that, once again, so that we can change the pinion height shims, the carrier shims, not the pinion height shims, the carrier shims. Now these adjust your backlash and also the preload for your bearings so that you can get the required backlash and preload on the bearings. So once again, like I said, that goes on there, and we put that on there as like I said, a slipper fit, so that just slips on there. Yeah, so once again, I just thought I'd just show you that, just so it gives you a bit more of an insight as to what I was talking about with the slipper bearings as such. So I'll go ahead now and press the new bearings on there for the final time. These are new bearings, but these came in the kit, so once again we had to modify them so that we could turn them into the slipper to set up our differential. So yeah, okay, so what I'll do now is I'll press some bearings on for the last time and finish off the Dhana 44. Okay, so pretty excited, pretty happy. Got the Dhana 44 finished. Been a bit of a slog, this one, because not many people realise this diff's actually like a 1952, 53 or something like that. And it actually goes into, this diff is actually out of a 1948 F1 pickup, so Ford pickup. So it's a 1948 F1 pickup, which is actually before the F series, like F250, F100, F350, whatever. This truck's actually before then. So once again, getting some of this stuff to fit has been a bit of a pain because of the era of this diff. But naturally, we've got it all sorted out. Absolutely killer pattern all the way around. Really happy with it all. Once again, we've done a ratio change on this one. Just recap it all. Ratio change, which actually requires, let me get that thing up there, actually requires a new yoke because the spline on the pinion's actually different. So we've got a new yoke, new pinion nut, a washer, what else have we got? New bearings, of course. New hemisphere because we had to change that because of the offset. New crown wheel and pinion, all new bearings, all new seals in the ends, all new seals on the axles. Straightened one of the axles. This one here, I reckon it was, because we've got some marks on it. This had like about almost 20 thou run out on it at the bearing journal. So my buddy has straightened this in his press. As you can see, they're quite a fat axle. You know, they're not slender at all. Fairly coarse spline. So yeah, once again, my buddy, he straightened that for me. This axle flange had been hit aggressively with a hammer and was absolutely terrible. So once again, my buddy's put it in his lathe and dressed it all up, and he's got that pretty much back to zero run out. So yeah, once again, awesome effort there. And unfortunately for this fella, I'm not sure whether the camera picks it up. This is actually where the internal seal runs. Unfortunately for this guy, he's had the leather. This diff still had the genuine leather seals in the axle seal ends, in the ends of the axle tubes. Unfortunately, he was pretty happy that it still had them in there. Unfortunately, as you can see, it's actually chewed into the axle and actually scored through the hardening as well. So unfortunately, he's just going to have to try and dig up some axles, because that's actually a weak point now. It may not snap, but it could. So I've warned him of all of this. So yeah, so once again, we've dressed these and got them up to the best we can. You know, this is once again going into a 1948 Ford pickup with a 8BA side valve V8 in it. So, you know, she's not exactly going to be doing any drifting or quarter mile passes as such, but it runs some big wheels and tyres on it, which is my concern. So yeah, I have warned him of all that. But anyways, now once again, it's all come up a treat. Really happy with it all. I have to apologise to the owner, because it's been quite some time due to the COVID and all the rest of the stuff trying to get bearings for this. Not a lot of suppliers have got this sort of stuff on the shelf, but we were lucky enough. So it hasn't been too bad, but I've just been waiting on the carrier bearings for quite some time, unfortunately. But I managed to get them today, so I've knocked this off for the fella, because I pretty much had it ready just to go straight ahead, full steam ahead. So yeah, so that's the Dhana 44, all done. Once again, we've gone with a 391 from a 391 to a 37 ratio, all new bearing seals all throughout, and fully reconditioned, so, and rebuilt. Very happy with that one. Okay, so another build we've just finished. This is the XH Ute diff that needed to be shortened. Long story short, the customer put the diff in the car, and once again, it was just too wide because it's an XH Falcon diff, so he couldn't actually fit a standard offset style rim on the car. So he's brought it here, and we've shortened it back to, so the overall width of this diff, when it's all assembled, is back to the width of a standard Valiant VH to VK diff. So yeah, we've shortened it. Put the Valiant leaf purchases on here as well, because he had the Falcon ones on here which don't properly fit, so we've put the Valiant ones on there for him as well. We've got some nice curry axles for it as well, 28 spline. We could have had his old ones maybe welded up, but I don't really like doing it, and respline. So, but I like I said, I'd rather do this and do it properly with a nice set of new axles. We've got new bearings and everything on there as well. Customer supplied gears and gears and LSD. We've rebuilt the LSD. Set in a solid pinion spacer as well. This diff is actually disc brake rear end, being an X. I'm not 100% sure whether it's an XH or an XG diff, but it's out of a late model Ute. I do know that for sure. What else have we done here? New naturally solid pinion spacer, new bearings and seal. This actually had a Falcon yoke on it as well, so we've replaced it with the Valiant yoke for him as well. And I think that's pretty much about it. And this one, new bearing seals. Yeah, and that's pretty much about it really on this one. So once again, this one's all finished, ready for the customer to pick it up. Yeah, I'll get on to the next build, which is all the stuff down here in the corner, which is as we like to nickname them, a hamburger with a lot. So which is a full strange pro iron case, and like I said, all the fruit. So what I might do is just push this diff aside, and yeah, maybe unbox some of this stuff and let you have a look at that. Okay, so here's the next job that I'll be doing, which, as you can see, is a Ford 9-inch, all strange apart from the gears. We've got a motive with this one, full strange 9-inch, because we finished the Borg Warner. So yeah, I'll just run through a few things with this one. We've got the strange Pro Iron case here. Awesome cases, got a lot more meat in around here, dual rib, nodular iron. Once again, a lot more meat around the back here where the spigot bearing runs and such. Heavy duty main caps, and a different style of retainer as well. So yeah, very nice piece indeed. Turn it around again. Yeah, so once again, very nice piece. We've got the Eaton True Trac there for it. A 1350 yoke. There. ARP, what have we got in here? ARP kit. We've got the spigot bearing, retainer, new nut, and your ARP fasteners for your crown wheel bolts, which are yeah, they're a 3/4 socket head on them ones. We got the Daytona pinion support, nice piece in there, solid pinion spacer naturally, all new pinion support bolts, big pinion support bearing. Like I said, once again, that's the Daytona pinion support, strange naturally, and a set of motive gears, because we've had a lot of luck setting these uppers. And the last diff that I did, which was the well, the one before this one, which was the Dhana 44, we used motives in that, and they set up really nicely too. So yeah, so I've actually gone back to using motives at the moment, and having a fair old amount of success with them. So hence the reason I'm using them in this job as well. So yeah, just another quick run through. We've got our strange Pro Iron case there, 31 spline True Trac, 1350 yoke in there, your retainer, your bolts. We've got our bearings, the True Trac carrier bearings there, or LSD bearings, whatever you want to call them. Our motive gear set, and Daytona pinion support once again, solid spacer, seal, and all the stuff we need. So yeah, once again, looking forward to that one. I'll get it on the bench mule here. When I get it on the bench mule, I'll recap it again. So, but that'll sort of do us for. That'll sort of do us for this episode, or this video sort of thing. So thanks for joining us again. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe, or at least just subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And thanks again for viewing. And yeah, I'll see you when I'm looking at it all next. Mid Coast Diff Shop.